Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to Sense of Impending Hope. I'm glad to be here with you today, and to continue on with my prayer series, I'd like to talk about curiosity. Um, what if curiosity isn't about knowing more? What if it's about becoming more? It's an interesting question to ponder. I heard somebody ask that question the other day, and it really made sense. I know a lot of stuff. I do. And but one of the things that I think a lot of us deal with is interpersonal relationships. And interpersonal relationships, whether they're romantic or they're professional or anything, any kind of relationship for that matter, has the opportunity to be problematic. One of the things that I noticed about myself a while ago, and it's taken a lot of introspection, and it's taken a lot of pain. It's taken a lot of pain. I I find that my curiosity most often is driven from pain. It's driven from pain, and it is counterintuitive for me to understand that the less I know, the more curious I am, the more I can become. And I think what's happened over the last year or so through all of the introspection that I've done is I've come to find out a lot about myself. And let me know if you can relate to this. I was in the military for 21 years. I was an athlete. I was always led to believe that having the answer was the most important thing that I could do. And I don't know where I picked it up. I don't know where all of that stemmed from, but it really ingrained itself into me. And I think some of it has to do with insecurity. Some of it has to do with um, wanting to be validated by other people, wanting to be thought of as smart, wanting to be thought of as someone with knowledge, with answers. And it's been a very challenging journey for me to get to a point where I'm most curious. My reactions to most people start something like this, especially if I don't understand. If I'm not understanding what it is that you're trying to say to me, or it doesn't make sense to me, or I don't agree with it, is that's ridiculous. Why would you ever believe that? And you need to go change it. I'm not sure if you know this, but most people don't like that. They're not fond of being told, one, you're wrong, two, you lose, and three, you got to go fix something that you may not want to fix in order to make me feel better, not you. Now, one of the greatest things that's come from that revelation is that now I can get to a point where I can ask a few more questions. And I've had conversations with people that I didn't quite understand, I didn't quite get, whatever. And with an extra question, one more question, one more why, the answer reveals itself. And so maybe it's what asking why one more time then feels comfortable. Maybe when I do that, there's a better chance at me being able to understand. There's also a much better chance that whoever it is that I'm trying to understand will feel seen and heard. I have spent most of my adult life, probably my childhood as well, desperate to be seen and heard, to feel safe and protected, to feel seen and heard. And quite literally, because of the way I was taught somewhere, the way I was taught to react to that, I have deprived so many people of their opportunity to feel seen and heard. I've deprived them of their opportunity to feel loved, to feel safe and protected around me. And when I look back on that, I think about all of the relationships that I've damaged because of it. And I'm also one of those people that put in the right state of mind. Not only will I disagree with you, but I'll tell you why you're wrong, and I will keep pressing until you relent. And I think most people don't ever relent. Most people don't want to be told that they're wrong. Most people don't want to be told that what they're doing and thinking is ridiculous. And I think we've got a challenge to face with social media. And ironically, as I'm sitting here talking to you through a social media platform, we have gotten to a point where people can post and say anything that they want to say to and about anyone with no recourse. And that's scary. It's a scary place. And you want to talk about a lack of curiosity. Man, there's no curiosity at all involved in any of those conversations. It's I'm right, you're wrong, and you're stupid. And that is a heck of a way to go through life. And I've done it. I've been on that side of it. I'm right, you're wrong, and you're stupid. You need to change. I win, you lose. And what I've come to find out is, again, most people don't like that. If I'm in a romantic relationship and that's my tactic with my significant other, and my tactic is always, I'm right, you're wrong, you need to change. I win, you lose, you need to change. How long is she going to want to be around? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that some of us, and I'm really talking about myself when I say this, that's a mentality that comes around, right? And I don't like it. And so, over the last while, I have actually gotten to a point where I will script out conversations, not because I want it to be scripted, because I want to have the correct questions to ask. I want to think about the potential consequences of each question. Because even though I'm asking questions, I was in a training one time. It was a sales training, and the teacher, the moderator of the class, said, "It's great to ask questions as long as there's not an implied "you big dummy" on the back end of it." And I think a lot of times with questions, we can imply stuff that we don't really intend to, but maybe we do. Maybe some of the questions that we ask will actually lead to more superiority. Like, I'm just trying to talk down to you. I'm asking you questions, leading you into an answer that I want. And that's equally as dangerous for me. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of conversations, and there are any number of different people out there who talk about negotiations, who talk about extra questions, who talk about how to create partnership with other people by allowing them to be seen and heard. I don't know that there's any more powerful place that I can put my relationship partner, whoever it is. The best place that I can put them is in a place that's safe and protected. A place that they can feel like at any moment they can say whatever they need to say and there will be no recourse. That they can say and feel however they want to say and there will be no judgment. They can say and feel however they want to feel, and my behavior will be the same as it was as if they said something that I agreed. Now, over the last year, I have had my own personal experience with a lack of curiosity. And I have seen two other people that I really care about blow up our relationship with me because they want to be right. And I've come to the conclusion that one of the most dangerous things that I can ever do in any relationship, whether it's professional or personal or romantic, is to be right. Right is a very, very dangerous place for me. But the great news is that this has been placed on my heart to understand it. And it's also been placed, I've also been given two other examples for people that I love that absolutely let me have it over something that they believed about my life that they didn't agree with. And they let me have it with both barrels. With language that's not curious, with language that was harsh, with language that was cursing. And man, was it a great revelatory conversation to sit on the other end of that and go, holy cow, that's what it looks like to be right. This is something that I don't ever want to be. Now, I say all of this stuff and I mean it. Like, I truly mean it, that there is absolutely very little that I ever want to be in my life again. I don't know if I said that right. There is nothing that I want to be less in my life than I want to be right again, because it's hard. It's hard, it's brutal, and it leads to nothing but anger and resentment from whoever it is that you're talking to. And there's absolutely no way that I can be loving and kind and that they can feel safe and protected if I'm right. And I'm standing on some kind of judgmental higher ground of righteousness. And so one of the things that has become most apparent to me is that it's one more question. Okay, I think I understand that. Let me tell you what I've heard. See if you agree with what I heard is what you said. And let me ask this one more question. There's a guy named Carl Rogers who has who created the Carl Rogers method of confrontation resolution. And the basic premise of that is to continue to repeat back to the other person what they have said until they totally agree that you've heard them and stated back to them exactly what it is that they've said and how they feel. And that takes work. That takes want to, it takes willingness, it takes all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things that sometimes seem silly. Well, why do I have to do that? Well, I can tell you why I need to do it. And I need to do it because if I don't, um, I'm not a great person to be around. And one of the most telling things that's happened to me over the last year is this unmitigated desire to allow the people in my life to feel safe and protected. I'm not sure how well I do it. I'm not sure how often I do it. But what I know is that when I do that, I'm a kinder, gentler person. People aren't afraid to be around me. And there's nothing for me that makes me feel worse than for people that love me and care about me to be afraid, to feel uneasy that they can't be around me and be themselves. And I think there's a second piece to this. And in my estimation, the second piece of this is we're in a new year. So I've reflected on last year, and last year was not great. It wasn't great. But in a lot of ways, it was fantastic because I've learned so much stuff about myself and about how to interact with people and how to do better and how to be more productive and all of these different things. And I've also learned to lean into God through all of this. And I've learned to be curious about what God's will for me is. That is probably the place where I need to be the most curious. If I can lean into God's will for me, if I can lean into God's timing for the things that happen, if I can lean into being patient and waiting for things to happen, for prayers to be answered, for any of that kind of stuff, then my level of curiosity increases. I've heard people over the course of my life talk about they wake up every morning excited about what God has in store for them that day. Wow, what a great way to live. I can honestly say I'm not sure how many times that's ever happened to me. Maybe on vacation, maybe, before something that I really, really wanted to do would happen. But I'm looking at this next coming year as I am just excited. I'm curious, and I'm curious and excited to see what God has planned for me in 2026. There was a lot of preparation that happened in 2025. And I am absolutely glad that 2025 is over. I am so glad 2025 is over. And, but the one thing that I know is that no matter how difficult it was, and it was hard, God was right there with me the whole time. And there were days that I wanted to quit. There were days that I wanted to give up. There were days that I'd had enough. And I knew in my heart of hearts that there was one more day, just one more. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, we'll go till tomorrow because I know that God has a better plan for me starting tomorrow. I know God has a better plan starting for me maybe the day after that. So I've got to go. I've got to keep going until I get to the place where the plan unfolds. And it was hard. And today I'm excited about what 2026 has in store for me. I'm excited about what 2026 has in store for you. And I hope and I pray that every time that I do this, that God places his hand on my voice and it touches somebody that needs to hear something that I've said or that I've experienced. And I am so grateful that I have this little platform that I have. And I'm so grateful that I have been able to do this and share some things that happened to and for me in my life. And so we've gone through 3 episodes of this now, the prayer series that we've talked about. We've gone through sacrifice, we've gone through aim, and now we've gone through curiosity. I am going to pick up the pace of these, and I'm going to have a bunch more interviews coming up for us over the next, hopefully 1 to 2 a month is the goal. I'll see if I can get that done. And I'm really excited about this. I have some really cool people that I could potentially line up to talk to, and I am just grateful. I'm grateful and I'm excited and I'm curious to see what 2026 has in store for me and for all of us. May God bless you and keep you. Happy New Year. Many thanks. And I'll see you all next time.